One day I'll figure out how to hit play remotely, where I don't have to walk out from behind the camera. Give everybody a chance to get in the room here. Make sure volume's working. Volume is working. What is up, people? A little later getting started tonight. My daughter had some company over, or has some company over, and we were in the kitchen hanging out, just kind of shooting the breeze. She works at Jerry's Fish House in Florence there, so I was trying to scheme up some free Jerry's to no success. Jerry's has got some really cool t-shirts, very Americana. I was really trying to get a free t-shirt, but she doesn't even get them free. So, anyhow, we're here. Crystal's over there on the couch. I'm here in front of the camera. Phone's on the charger a little bit here, or a lot of bit. I was going dead there. So, no comments for me right now. Crystal will be handling the comments, per usual. How's everybody doing? I hope you all have had a great day. I am wore slap out. The last 2 nights when I've got home and got ready to do these things, I could literally feel like fishing weights are pulling my eyelids down. Just so tired. I didn't go to bed at like 1 o'clock last night. I wasn't up doing anything. You get to hanging out with your wife and a little late night cooking and hanging out, and time gets away from you. I guess that's a good thing when you enjoy hanging out with your wife. So, she enjoys hanging out with me.
I do.
Man, I'm going to jump all over the place tonight. Let's just jump in again. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a wild day in the Save Jackson social media universe. In our Jackson Uncensored group, I shared a video. I thought I was being kind of, backhanded complimentary of it's about a 30-year-old video of a JSU drill team member. Just very flamboyant. Baton twirling, all that, ripping pants off. It was funny. It was having a good time. I mean, no harm by it. I've shared that on my personal Facebook every year for the last 2 or 3 years. It showed up in my Facebook memories. I thought I could pick on some JSU fans, and they didn't like it. Hell, they may not have even been JSU fans. Probably just people looking to pick a fight. They got blocked from the group. If calling somebody a racist is your first reaction to something, screw you. There's other ways to have a conversation, and that's not going to be it for me when I know what my intentions are or aren't. So, moving on. Where should we start here? So I want to backtrack a little bit. This has been sitting. James Wright, one of our great followers, sent me a video Saturday night. Had a lot going on. It's been a crazy week, and I'm just now getting around to this. So, James, I apologize. James is most likely going to share the link to this video in the comments if he's watching. This past Saturday, Dr. Joe Jurgensen, the Libertarian presidential candidate for the United States of America, was to speak in Jackson, Mississippi. And her tour bus was in town, and allegedly, or maybe she did, she got bit by a bat, is what the news stories ran with. What all the news channels ran with.
He just shared it.
Okay, cool. So the video is in the comments here. All the news channels. And we even shared it. I shared it on my personal page, either way. It says, Libertarian news candidate bit by bat cancels Jackson speech. But she didn't. She spoke in Jackson. And there's video. And at the time, nobody had corrected their headline. My understanding is WWT even said that, I don't want to say they called him a liar, but they disputed the fact and said that video was from Hattiesburg. Look, dude has no reason to lie. Legit, straight up guy. And I think here we are, 6 days later, 5 days later, the Clarion Ledger has changed their headline. So, for whatever weird reason, Dr. Joe Jurgensen did speak in Jackson. I'm not sure if she was actually bit by the bat or not, but let's just go with the fact that she was. She did not cancel the speech. she went along with it. And I hate that it came across like that, because I had plans on going, because I really wanted to. I like hearing other opinions. If you followed this page for a while, and especially if you've reached out to me in the messages, you know that I'm all about having conversation with people I may not on the surface agree with. And I was very interested in what she had to say. So for whatever reason, she did speak in Jackson, and they did not retract the headline that she didn't. So take that for what it's worth. The video is now available in the comments of this video. Thank you, James, for sharing that, and thank you for following up, and I apologize for taking as long as I have to get to this story. It's been a crazy week at home, and then work the last 2 weeks has been insane. But hey, that's what they pay me for. I'm not complaining, but it's just been brain drain. I have a whole new respect for people who work on an assembly line and do the same thing, same repetitive motion all day. We've taken 1,100 car deals and had to make copies of all of them and put them in a folder. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. I've been making copies of stuff in my dreams for the last 3 days. A little bit of funny news here before we get into the ugly, serious stuff. I say it's funny. It's just, I laugh to keep from crying. Chicken wings have tested, according to WLBT. Make sure I give credit where credit's due here. Chicken wings have tested positive for COVID in China. Man, if the chicken gets the COVID here in America, I'm done. I don't know what I will do. I eat more chicken than anything. And as I know that most Mississippians do, we love our chicken here. Fried, grilled, chicken salad. Heck, my daughter in there eating chicken salad tonight. That's her new favorite food. I mean, I hate to break it to her that it may have COVID if it's from China. So let's hope that that China contains the COVID there. It'll be the first time they've contained it. So, all right. So I'm not one to typically address rumors. I don't want to be the guy that y'all come back to and say, well, you lied. So I want to preface this with saying this is a rumor, unconfirmed, but it definitely piques my interest anytime it involves the mayor of this city. A buddy of mine, he said I can use his name, Hardy Case from Canton, Mississippi. Hardy is very plugged into the local political scene, has been for a long time. I've known Hardy for about 3 or 4 years, and we go back further than that, but we've been friends about 3 years now. Hardy's like, hey, did you hear about Chokwe Antar Lumumba not running? He is not going to run, allegedly, not going to run for mayor or for re-election. I said, no, I have not heard that. You've piqued my interest. So I was like, hey, he's like, yeah, I just saw it on Twitter, in some of my Twitter circles. I was like, well, shoot, send it to me so I know I'm not shooting from the hip. He sends it to me. This is about 5:30 or so, 5:30, somewhere in there. Sure enough, some guys on Twitter. I don't want to share their names because I don't know them. Don't know anything about them, none of that. They may hate this page, so I don't want to give them a shout out if they do. I kid. They say, hey, I'm hearing Antar is not going to run. Wait, I can pull it. Well, screw it. I'll share it later. They're saying, hey, I hear Antar is not going to run for re-election. And a couple of the guys in the comments are saying they kind of heard the same thing. So I'm curious, who are they and what do they know? Will Antar run for re-election? I would think with the all-out assault on our senses that he has raged the last few months, and with the murder rate approaching 300. Well, actually, I think it surpassed 300 since the last time we talked about this. It was at 298, 297. Since he's taken office, I would think there's no way. So, anyhow, there's some food for thought. Word on the street is Antar might not even run for re-election. So we'll see how that plays out. I know there's guys way more plugged in than me that probably are all over this. Hell, they may have already announced this. It's been one of those weeks for me at work. So I'm just dropping this bug in y'all's ear. We'll see how it plays out. Fingers crossed he doesn't. But sometimes I'm always a fan of the devil you know is better than the one you don't. So we'll see. My buddies at Pops, they are opening this weekend. Just a reminder. Speaking of Antar, his executive order be damned. Pops will be opening Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. No matter what, according to them. I was wrong about something last night. You had to go to Pop's Facebook page, Pop Saloon's Facebook page. But Miles Flat, great Southern rock country cover band, is playing one night this weekend, if not both. And they do have karaoke tonight. So they're open right now. It's Thursday. Yeah, karaoke tonight at Pop's. I've lost track of what day of the week it is. So one more less than serious thing here. I shared this about a week ago on our Facebook page, but I saw where the local news channels were reporting it, and just figured I would mention it. Waffle House, during the pandemic, all the states, there was some data collected on which states, what restaurant every state ordered out from the most. And Waffle House, the only state that Waffle House was number one was Mississippi. Now, keep in mind, they are based out of Georgia. That Atlanta is their home base. So for Mississippi to beat every other southeastern, and hell, every other city, every other state in the country, that's pretty cool. Because when I tell you the other restaurants, there was only 3 or 4 other restaurants that even placed. Most of them were Olive Garden. For whatever reason, people wanted Olive Garden during the pandemic. I hope that was places where towns
Their salad dressing is good.
only had an Olive Garden. I gotta check my messages real quick here. Somebody who I really respect and trust just sent me a message. I want to see what it is here to the Save Jackson. This could be breaking news here. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a former JPD officer here in town. I want to see what he has got, what he is sending me here. Y'all bear with me. While that's loading, again, Waffle House was the most ordered from to-go restaurant in the state of Mississippi during the first part of the pandemic. The others were, you'll have to go to WLBT or scroll down on my page here and look. It was Chili's, Olive Garden, and apparently Texas Roadhouse is really popular in other states. New York, of all places, Texas Roadhouse was the most ordered from restaurant. And the only other one that only won one state was in Florida. Outback was the most ordered from chain restaurant during the pandemic. And I'm guessing that doesn't take in locally owned. You know, it's probably tied in with like Uber Eats or Grubhub or something like that. Or Waiter. So I'm going to watch this video. It's 2 minutes long. I'll watch it and get back to y'all on this. But this is very interesting. Law enforcement ad hoc committee meeting call. So we're going to get back to this. I don't want to play that live. Anyway, I digress, as I like to say. At least we weren't Olive Garden, right?
I like their salad dressing. It's really good.
I went to Olive Garden one time and it stunk so bad in there that I've never.
Go to the one here in Mississippi.
I went to the one in Jackson by Red Lobster.
Yeah.
They put us in a corner by a bunch of dirty dishes.
I don't go to Red Lobster here either.
I think it closed. I can't confirm that, but when I rode by the other day, I think I saw something out front that said closed, but it was a monsoon. I don't go to too many chain restaurants here.
It's in another state, though, and it looks.
Yeah, I do locally owned restaurants here, and I don't mind Outback. Of course, the one in Jackson closed, but the one out on in Lakeland, I don't mind Buffalo Wild Wings. You know, they're locally owned. They're chain restaurants, but they're locally owned, and those make a difference. Like when the owner is here in town, they tend to take better care. It's why Chick-fil-A does so well. The owner is in that store. And I want to say they're only allowed to own one, and they have to work it and manage it. It's Steak Escape is the same way. Mm-hmm. So you tend to get better service at those restaurants. So just a little heads up. So I will support that. I don't care if you're a national chain as long as you're locally owned.
Stephen worked for Chick-fil-A.
Your brother? Yep. My wife's brother worked for Chick-fil-A, and he that makes sense because he's kind of that kind of guy. Very, very crosses his T's and dots his I's. So all right, so let's go to the bad news. California. Now I want y'all to keep this in mind, especially if you're thinking about voting Democrat. California has been super majority Democrat. The Democrats have had the super majority for at least 20 years in California. This has been going on a while, and I've been meaning to mention it, but it got brought back up today on Tim Pool's podcast. And if you're not watching Tim Pool on YouTube, highly recommend checking out Tim Pool. So California is voting to abolish and repeal all your civil rights laws. Proposition 16, which means the repeal of, or they're voting to repeal Prop 16. Affirmative action, all that stuff. Long story short, California wants to be able to say there seems to be a lot of issues there with the Asian population getting into schools and getting jobs and stuff that they feel should go to other minority groups. So their thought process here is we repeal the civil rights laws and affirmative action so they can judge people and deny people employment and opportunity based on race. Of course, they say it will not affect minorities. They basically are saying that it will only affect white people, so minorities can get positions. But the real truth is it will absolutely affect minorities. And the fact that this is even a thing and it passed got enough votes to go to a referendum, and it will be on the November 3rd, 4th, whatever day the election is, it will be on the ballot in California in November. That should scare the hell out of everybody because Kamala Harris is a Democrat in California. So, hey, food for thought. You know, be very careful who you vote for. That's scary. I mean, that's real life scary stuff. That's the stuff y'all accuse Trump of doing. That it's actually Democrats in California, the wokest place on earth, other than Portland and Seattle, but it's way bigger. Anyway, let me see here. Speaking of Pence and not Pence. Speaking of Biden, I'm so tired. I wrote Pence down. I'm just vice president stuck in my mind. Speaking of Biden and Harris, I guess they released an order today, an imaginary executive order today, requiring all Americans to wear a mask everywhere for the next 3 months. Meanwhile, forgetting or not realizing that they are not in charge yet, nor will they be, hopefully. Ever. So I don't know who they think is supposed to abide by this this imaginary executive order of theirs, but for the next 3 months, if you're a loyal Biden and Kamala supporter, wear your mask everywhere you go. Her name is Kamala. I don't care how she pronounces it. Speaking of Kamala, I forgot to mention this last night. Rest in peace. The Ugandan giant from North Mississippi, WWE Hall of Famer, passed away Tuesday night, I believe. Today's Thursday, so Tuesday night or Tuesday, the legendary wrestler Kamala passed away, and I don't have his real name in front of me, but wrestling is real, so Kamala is his real name, as far as I'm concerned. It's still real to me, damn it. So moving on. I'm just going to read the news here tonight. Y'all are welcome to ask any questions in the comments. Just like last night, we'll do an Ask Me Anything thing.
Somebody's talking about her changing her race. Kamala Harris.
So is she Indian or black now?
Well,
what is she claiming?
She's tried. Well, she did claim to be Indian. She did claim to be Indian, and now Biden's campaign and all that is saying that she's a black woman, yeah.
And, you know, she's married to a white guy. I didn't see him anywhere during the announcement. Seems to be a popular thing with celebrities of, you know, marrying outside their races. which teach their own. But I just think it's funny. These are the people that play. These are the people that play that politics, but then marry white people. So I don't know. Weird, but hey, that's cool. Because there's really no transitioning from that. Three JPD officers have now been indicted on a murder from 2019. This is not breaking news, but it became official news today. Anthony Fox, Desmond Barney, and Lincoln Lampley are all charged with second-degree murder, with the second-degree murder of George Robinson. Robinson was basically beat to death. I guess that's what they're saying. I've seen the video, but it's been a while. The coroner ruled the death a homicide by blunt force trauma when he died 2 days after the incident. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out in these very interesting times. You can, regardless of if they're actually guilty or not, you can thank the Lumumba administration for pressing, whether you agree with it or not, for pressing murder charges on JPD officers. That is definitely right up the Lumumba administration's alley. So, that's last night. Just making sure I'm not missing anything here that I want to discuss. Again, you can ask us anything tonight. We're wide open. I do not plan on going for an hour and 40 minutes again tonight. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. I got 2 more days of work this week. It's my 6-day work week. And then with my birthday shindig Saturday night. So a little more national news. And somebody brought this up during last night's live stream. I was not familiar with it past the little blurb I'd heard on the news. I'm more familiar with it today, so let's talk about it. 5-year-old boy, Cannon Hennett, and I believe that's how you pronounce it, Hennett. 5-year-old boy, North Carolina, executed in cold blood in his front yard.
He was riding his bike.
Riding his bike, or in front of his house there.
His daddy's house.
Yep. And he was not a victim of a drive-by. It was not an accidental shooting. It was a cold blood execution. The killer, Darius Sessoms, he had been convicted of drugs and guns and all kind of fun stuff in the past. Had just had dinner with the Cannon's father a night or two prior to this. Cannon is a white kid, and Darius is a black male. I bring that up. Now, I do not like discussing this kind of stuff, but I bring that up because the national media is basically ignoring this. You have to really dig into Twitter to find anything about this, and some more of your right-leaning websites. If it had been the other way around, it would be Civil War 2.0 in America right now. So, thank God it's not. But it does show the bias in the media. They're, especially in an election year, they're very, very scared to discuss anything like this.
It doesn't fit their narrative.
It does not fit their narrative, and it's disgusting. All lives do matter, and we should treat this child just like we treat George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, or anybody else that was innocently killed. So, food for thought there. Really sick, really sick. Hopefully this will make bigger headlines and we can bring more attention to this story. The young man's name was Cannon Hennett, 5-year-old in North Carolina. Rest in peace, young child. Godspeed. And there's no transitioning from that, but we're going to try. An anonymous follower sent me a question, or asked what I asked our followers a question. She inherited her father's business a few years ago, and it's a state fair business. What she wants to know is, do you plan on attending the state fair this year? They're planning on rolling with it as of right now. Fingers crossed they do. I got a bunch of friends down there that it definitely affects their finances for the year. We're pulling for it. I think it's going to be hard for them to have the fair and not have football. So,
Or school, really.
Or school, yeah. I mean, I think all of it's really weird. I don't want them to cancel anything. I mean, I'm kind of like, well, if you cancel this, you cancel this, you cancel this, you cancel this. What do you do, you know? I mean, anyway. So the vendors are being asked to pay 50% of their normal rental fee for the fair this year. And I don't know that, I'm not going to get into the business of what their rental fees are. I do know. But it's high. We'll say that. But I don't think it matters so much to them, because if I don't think a $3,000 or $4,000 difference.
They just want to know if it's worth it.
Yeah, just like is it worth it? Do you plan on going to the fair this year? They released their restrictions and their COVID guidelines a few days ago. They're going to, I want to say there's going to be a certain limit per acre. How in the hell they plan on enforcing that or keeping up with that, I have no clue. They do have the gates, and maybe they'll have more entrances, and they'll kind of gauge on how many people are coming in and out of the entrances. That requires pretty good technology to keep up with that, or really good people counting skills. I question if they have that in place, or if they can even justify that. I hope they can. I mean, really, I don't think they should do any of that. Just open, and I think a lot of people are going to be scared to go anyway, and they don't have to worry about it. Or at least there's a lot of people who like to pretend online that they're scared to go do stuff. But when you go places, it's slam packed. So I don't know. I think the fair will test a lot of people's resolve with this. Because I think we're going to see a lot of people that go, but they're going to have their face mask on, and they're going to pretend they didn't go.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's see. Old Therese Apel just retweeted something from Thomas Dobbs here. U.S. making slight progress in fighting the virus. Please stay focused. We have a long way to go. You can go check out Thomas Dobbs' Twitter feed if you want. It's TCB Pub Health, at TCB Pub Health.
Somebody said no state fair, nothing to do with COVID, all to do with Jackson and the murder rate / crime.
Yeah, I haven't been to the fair really in a couple years. I'll sneak down there once or twice, during the day on a Sunday or something, and grab something to eat. I like to support the local vendors. I always like to go by the This Is It tent, get a beer, eat my chicken on a stick, watch drunk people hit the punching bag. But that's kind of in and out. I can park right behind it, sneak around, run in, run out. But I'm personally out on the fair. But I've been out on the fair for years. Just not my gig. But public events like that aren't here locally. Anyway, I'll go out of town and do anything. But it's tough to want to do anything in Jackson that's open to the public, especially a wide array of public. And I'm watching the news is on the other side of the camera here. Fox News is reporting on the Ingram angle about the Cannon Hanot murder. But they're asking the same thing. Hell, Fox is the mainstream media. Yeah. But they're asking, where's the outrage? So it's always funny when Fox does that. They're like, where's the outrage? You are the outrage. You're the most watched news channel in the world. You are the outrage. I'm glad they're covering it, but I just always get a laugh out of them pretending they're not the mainstream media. All right, so I'm looking at my comments now that my phone's charged a little. My wife has decided to make an appearance on camera. We got anything interesting going on? Christy, that's a great point there. Somebody needs to do a waiter app for state fair food.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's $1 million idea right there. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Kiefer's and Kralakis and some of our local gyro people. And their gyro is better than the ones you get at the fair. But it's just something about getting something different. I love the gyro from that big gyro vendor at the fair. Their cucumber sauce or whatever you call it is really good. I don't know, it's something different. And I love Penn's. I'll always be a supporter of Penn's. But Take 'em Out'em has got really good chicken on a stick too. They ought to start putting some Take 'em Out'ems in the gas stations around here. Their shish kebabs, are on point.
I want to talk about my little boy that wants to be adopted.
Yes, my wife has been trying to get me to watch this video of this little 9-year-old boy in Oklahoma who his whole family has been adopted except him. He's been there since he was 3.
Yes.
Share it in the comments.
Okay.
So she's going to share this link in the comments here. She's like, I cried big crocodile tears. Have you watched it yet? I'm like, no, I don't want to cry if I can help it.
I'm ready to go get him.
Yeah, she is ready to. She's like, he looks like you. I'm like,
When
where's
little.
I'm like, where's he from? I'm like, Oklahoma. I'm like, I haven't been to Oklahoma.
Really?
She's like,
That's where you went with that?
She's like, he got the same color hair as you. I'm like, gray? She's like, no. I'm like, blonde? So whatever color my hair is. Oh, hey, real quick, thinking about something here. I've talked with some friends. We're planning a huge show here. Fingers crossed next Sunday. Roughly, if I can get everybody on the same page, we can get. I don't really want to do it at my house, but I'm going to. There's a group of girls here in Jackson, or should I say, ladies, women here in Jackson. It's funny when you grow up with people, you have a hard time referring to them as adults. It's like girls or boys still. Anyway, it's a group of girls that I grew up with. Man, they are on the front lines of this child sex stuff and the Save Our Children hashtag. Mm-hmm. And they reached out to me today and they were like, hey, can we please get together and bring some attention to this here locally? I was like, absolutely. I was like, I know Miss Helen Brown is hugely involved in that. Bo Trebetich, Jason Anderson. I've got several friends that are really, really big into this. And I haven't even asked them yet. I'm just mentioning their names here on the live feed. I'm going to be reaching out to y'all this week. So
I think most people are into stopping.
Yeah. I mean, well, when I say people that are into it, I mean people who are actively involved in the charitable and the policing side of it. I think all of us agree that that this needs to be stopped. And if we focus our attention in more places like that and in some of the less nonsense that we do, we would all be better off. Right. So we're going to get together a show or whatever you want to call this, Jackson Uncensored, Save Jackson. It's a live stream. And we're going to discuss the real numbers about the child sex trafficking, all that stuff here in central Mississippi. As a father, as a girl dad to some teenage girls that are out running the roads and having fun and being teenagers, these are things that scare the crap out of me. I don't know, somebody could throw a bag over their head at Walmart. You just never know anywhere. So it ain't just kids that get kidnapped, or young kids. It's young adults and
adults.
I mean, you've seen. I think the movie. Women. The movie Taken was way ahead of its time. Yeah. I think of the movie Taken and a lot with Liam Neeson. I'm sure y'all have seen the movies. I have a certain set of skills. I'm going to find you. I'm going to kill you. I think that is every parent, not just dad. That is every parent in the world when we think about our kids and that somebody doing something ill to them. I have a certain set of skills. Put that on a Jackson shirt. I have a certain set of skills. Mm-hmm. Bashing people on the internet that don't do their jobs. People say that's one of their favorite movies. I see a lot of the ladies who I've been talking to that are watching with us tonight, so that's great. Y'all get ready. They've been sending me I said, y'all send me some links on some local stuff, and my phones has been blowing up for the last hour. So thank y'all. There's nothing. I will do anything y'all ask me to do. I do drag my feet a little. I got a lot going on. I wish this was a full-time job and I got paid to do this, but I don't. I have a full-time job that I do love, so I kind of have to balance my passion around my job. So and family, of course. So I don't ignore anything that y'all send me. I just have a hard time getting to everything, and I feel like everything deserves a big chunk of attention. If it's important to you, it's important to me. And like sometimes I don't mention stuff because I want to give it the full passion and attention that it deserves and that you feel it deserves. And if I just tiptoe around it, I feel like I did you a disservice. So it was like the story with Dr. Jurgensen. It took me a few days to get to it, but I wanted to get to it when I had time to do it right. So that's why it took me a few days. But we do get to stuff. There's a local florist. I want to say, well, I don't want to say the name and get it wrong. I've got the videos in my message. There's a local florist that's been sending me the videos of people breaking in their stuff, and JBD hadn't done anything about it.
A lot of people are asking about self-defense classes. Tiger Rock.
Yeah.
Where Gracie goes.
So yes, people are asking about self-defense. Get your kids in some karate stuff. I got a buddy that I follow on social media. He's big into the jiu-jitsu stuff. Anthony Mitchell. He's got a place that does the jiu-jitsu, which is a little bit more advanced. I can't remember the name of his studio. It's there in Flowood, I believe. And then out in Brandon, there's Tiger Rock, which, they're probably the most well-known in the area, I would say. And my stepdaughter, Crystal's daughter, Gracie, goes there. She's been there less than a year, and she's already up to what belt?
She's been there almost 2 years.
2 years? God, has it been that long?
Yeah, she's a blue belt.
And a blue belt. And that's even during the pandemic. So, I have nothing but positive things to say. They even have an online option available.
Yeah,
so you can do kind of virtual learning, which nothing can replace in person when it comes to combat sports training. But hey, whatever, something to keep the kids busy, and if they can learn, pick up one thing, it's never a bad thing.
Somebody says, "Where is Robert Scott Staples when we need him?"
I thought about Big Scott.
Right.
Last I heard, Big Scott is out in California. He could be back. Scott is always on the go. I wish Scott is like Felicia, always on the go. I'm kind of jealous of her lifestyle. So I saw a shirt that said that one time. It's like I'm jealous of Felicia. She's always being told to go.
She's always getting out.
Yeah, always getting out.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I took some classes from Scott about 10 years or so ago when I was still in the bar business, about maybe 12, 13. I had free time in the daytime, so I took some classes and stuff. Man, I'm gonna tell you, just the training for that is more intense than anything I've ever done in the gym by myself.
I would love
you would die on the mat.
you.
Yeah, I need a cigarette.
I do both. Same.
Let's see here.
I hope everybody heard us.
So we're just kind of following up on the comments. I learned something from a friend of mine that does radio and stuff, and he said sometimes you just don't have to constantly be talking. That dead air is better than dumb air. So if I go quiet, I'm really just kind of taking his cue there. So my buddy James here says, for the record, I give Clay a lot of shit on Save Jackson page, but tonight he showed that we can put our differences aside and still be real and to each other, and I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, me and James don't necessarily line up politically, but we line up morally, and we agree with stuff. What's right's right, what's wrong's wrong, and I think a lot of people, the older you get, the more you tend to.
You agree in a lot of other ways.
Yeah. You don't. I don't like the terms Democrats and Republicans. Life is way more intense than that. Crystal gonna get you.
Crystal gonna get you, Clay.
Yeah, life is way more complicated than black and white. I live in the gray area. Like, here's the black line, here's the white line, here's the gray area. I live in the gray area. I think we have way more in common than we want to pretend we do. it goes back to what I said last night. Get out and talk to people who are different than you, especially that you know are different. And you'll be amazed at what you can learn if you shut up and listen and just talk to other people. Let's see here, man. What else did I have? I know I'm kind of bouncing around a little. We're kind of been all over the place. Everything from COVID chicken wings to California repealing I can never remember that word. Repealing affirmative action. I mean, those are words that, you know, if you're a minority in America, that has to rattle you to your core. That a state like California wants to repeal Proposition 16. Just Google it. The website is a .org, ballotpedia.org, or just Google California repeals Prop 16. And that seems to be the number one source, ballotpedia.org, for this. And make up your own opinion on it. Don't listen to me, but check it out. And again, make up your own mind on it. But that's scary. Somebody just messaged me something. I had to get back to you, Jeff. So that's crazy. Again, hearing a rumor that Chokwe may not run for re-election. I know I do this a lot on film. Fingers crossed. It's real. I don't care. I'm throwing it completely out the window with the whole devil you know is better than the one you don't. I know enough. Deuces. I think this shirt is actually it should be a great slogan for him. Ego kills talent. He appears to be a very talented, smart guy. And he has let his ego trump his talent. So, hate to see that, because Jackson needs good, strong, young minds that think outside the box. And I was willing to give him that chance, you know, as a citizen, and he's done nothing to nothing positive. I think Jeff's asking about the beer and barbecue bash. Well, it hasn't happened yet, Jeff.
You will be invited.
Absolutely. If the legendary Jonesy Q wants to take part in a barbecue bash for Save Jackson, any guy that's won Memphis and May's Best of Ribs and makes the amazing barbecue rubs, Jonesy Q, is absolutely welcome to partake in any barbecue bash. So with that said, there should be a button under this video where you can support this page for $10 a month, kind of like Feed the Children. It's a support Save Jackson. I do extra little videos there, on my way to work every morning, or I say every morning, every other morning or so. I do a video for support for the supporters only. Some days it's boring as hell. Some days I'm wide ass open, depending on how much coffee I've had and how much sleep I've had. And if nothing else, you know that the $10 a month is going to everything is dumped back into this whole production here. I think during the year or so that we've done this, I have maybe made about $50, and I've invested about $5,000. My wife and I. I mean, look at this gorgeous tree here. Do you think this kind of stuff is free? I mean, these are top-notch television set props here. You can't just, this ain't no middle of the mall burning tree. I mean, this is Save Jackson burning tree. So, this stuff don't buy itself. American flags. Shout out to my buddy Johnny Jordan for that. We've got the legendary Sun and Sand lounge sign here. That is authentic out of Sun and Sand. When they get around to rebuilding that thing, they're probably going to come and want it back. But I bought it off Facebook Marketplace, fair and square. It's not going anywhere. And this is kind of the part of the evening where we're just having a little fun. The bad news is over. Kind of show you my books back here. I know y'all see this stuff. These first 3 books are by local photographer Stephen Little if you followed this page for any time, you've seen Steven's drone photos and photography work. I've shared it probably as much as I've shared anything else on this page. This is his book of matchbooks from over the years. This is called Mississippi Framed. It's got just legendary signage and stuff. The next one's called Mississippi Vertical, and it's a lot of drone photography and stuff. And I want to say the other two have some drone stuff in them too. I don't want to move them and have to try to set them back up. But they're great coffee table books. And he sends you a ton of cool stuff with them. So just check out Stephen Little Photography here on Facebook. It'll have a link to his website. Hell, he's probably watching the video right now. He tunes in a good bit. What's up, Stephen? And the end thing here is just something I threw up here the other day. I bought a Johnny Cash box set years ago. Forgot all about it. I was digging through a closet the other day and found it. I used to go to Sam's every week and buy a bunch of stuff that I didn't need. And this box set was one of them.
Miss Eileen says she loves your prop tree here.
Oh, yeah. Well, while you were gone, I was telling people to donate to the page and become a supporter. I said, the supporter page that we have.
Oh.
The $10 a month thing. $9.99 a month. I told them that we reinvest all that into the page, and these $1 props are not cheap. This set design is world class. I told them this was no middle of the mall burning tree. Crystal made this, custom built.
Oh.
The world's best LED Christmas lights.
It's not LED, but okay, whatever.
It's LED for the sake of this conversation. Well, look, guys, I'm just rambling on, man. I was so tired same thing happened last night. I was so tired when I started this. I told Crystal, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight. I'm just tired. And then as soon as I get to talking to you guys and y'all start engaging, man, I have a great time. I see Constance asking Johnny Jordan if he made this flag. He did. Man, he hand builds these things. Okay. And I was talking with him the other day, and he was like, man, I've been going to make you another one because I want one that's got the black and the white. It looks really cool. And he's like, the wood that I use is apparently really hard to get right now. Like, who would have thought wood would be a shortage as well? But we're getting into that trickle-down part where there's a shortage on everything now. So, yep, Crystal needs to start selling custom-made trees with the lights. Speaking of other stuff that friends of the show, friends of ours make, these cups here. Bearded Cup Man. My buddy Josh Manning here locally hand paints these things.
You can look it up on Facebook, right?
Yep, you can look it up on Facebook. Bearded Cup Man. I've probably gotten 50, 60 cups in the last year made between work and gifts and whatnot. Does great work. I want to say these weren't about $35 a piece. Cup, paint, clear coat, the whole 9 yards.
I think they were
30, 35, somewhere in there. I want to say the little one was a little less.
Yeah, that range.
So long story short, they're not Yeti, but I will not pay Yeti prices for stuff. I'll get the whatever the generic equivalent is. Anyway, for what I do with these, I just refill them with water all day over and over. Perfect. Great gifts. I've got some Mississippi State ones that look really cool that are custom painted. Mm-hmm. And I think I was thinking I got an Ole Miss one done for a gift, but hey, speaking of Ole Miss and Mississippi State, I've been wanting to say this all day. I called Jake Wimberly this morning on the way to work. I thought about this. I was so proud of it. If you don't know Jake, he hosts the number one, sake of this conversation, number one sports talk show in the state. Or him and Bo Bounds go back and forth. Anyway, love Bo too. Jake is on ESPN The Zone 105.9. Y'all check him out every evening from 3 to 6. Y'all check Bo out every morning from 7 to 10. Been friends with those guys a long time. Anyway, I was thinking this morning on the way to work, I said, man, what would I personally sacrifice for a college football season? Like if the football god said, Clay, we will play, but what will you give up? And I thought to myself,
am I packing my suitcase?
I said, Clay, what would you give up for college football? Like, what sacrifice would you make? And I said, I feel like as a Mississippi State, really as an SEC fan, I think the ultimate sacrifice would have to be hearing Ole Miss fans brag about a national championship. They're already the absolute worst fans in the world. I love y'all, but y'all know. You ever want to know how great Ole Miss is, just ask an Ole Miss fan.
Look at Tate Reeves.
Look at Tate Reeves. I would knowingly go into the season knowing Ole Miss was going to win the national championship if it meant having college football. I would do that. I would say, you know what? It'll be an asterisk beside it this year anyway. Let them have it. I could live with Ole Miss winning a national championship this year.
It'd probably be by default some sort of way anyway.
Yeah. The other team would have like 37 players out with COVID. Yeah.
So sure. We'll go with that.
Let's see, man. Let's see. Who is on the show here? Who is watching with us? Look, man, I kid them all. My Ole Miss friends are some of my best friends in the world. I just don't like them.
They all flip their hair.
Even after they get their haircut, they still flip it back.
Flip.
I used to have long hair. My bangs were so long I could put my hair in my mouth. So, like, I was always flipping and blowing my hair up. Mm-hmm. And this kid in school, when I went to Witten, he was like, he thought I was blowing kisses at him in class one day, and he tried to beat me up. He's like, "Are you blowing kisses at me?" I was like, "No, I'm not blowing kisses at you. I'm blowing my hair." So
is that what I saw you?
That is. So I immediately got a haircut. I was like, I fell in love with you guys. Mm-hmm. Crystal fell in love with me when I was my absolute ugliest.
You're not ugly.
I had a South Jackson mullet, which in 91, it was the reverse mullet. It was long in the front and short in the back.
You look like a young
Tony Hawk.
In Metallica.
Tony, I was like, it was curly and it was blonde in the front and telling y'all way too much. So roll. Somebody says roll tide. Now
we're gonna fight.
Now the flip side to that argument is if you told me that Alabama was going to win the national title again, I would just say screw it, don't play football this year.
Exactly. We're gonna fight.
I mean LSU got theirs last year. They don't need another one. They're not going to win it no way. But anyway, just messing with my LSU friends. I see Mary sitting there with her purple and gold hearts. What's up, Mary? Thank you for tuning in. Mary is one of our friends they were gonna try to coerce into getting on this Save the Children show with us.
Yes.
Really good people, longtime friend there. Now look, Colin says I've got so many Alabama friends. Of course, in Mississippi, you probably know as many Alabama and LSU fans as you do State or Ole Miss.
We just like to pick on them.
Now, Ole Miss claims that LSU's their number one rival, but I don't ever remember Mississippi State storming the field after winning an Egg Bowl. Ole Miss did. Hugh Freeze's first year, stormed the field. Of course, that may have had more to do with their hate of Dan Mullen, but either way. So I'm kidding, but look, I say all that to say we got to have some college football. SEC, DBAP. If you don't know what DBAP is don't be a P.
Don't say that.
Don't be a P. DBAP.
Don't say that.
We need the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 to stand tall here. This is our chance. We call the South the Sun Belt, and the Sun Belt Conference has announced they're going to play, and that's basically all of your directional Louisiana schools, and the AAC, which is like Memphis and Central Florida and all them. So I haven't done the math on it, but I'm guessing there's probably about 50 or 60 schools Division One, FBS schools that are going to play, barring anything crazy. So we'll have a good football season. I mean, Heather, you can only watch so many games every weekend anyway.
What does that mean?
Let me see.
Something about Jackson State. If Mississippi State doesn't play Jackson State.
Check Mississippi State's football record is losing record if they didn't play schools like Jackson State. Well, I mean, look, Ole Miss lost to Jacksonville State. So we can do that all day. I mean, everybody has a bad day. Hell, State lost to Maine. I will never forget that. That is a stain on my life. But, as life goes, the trials and tribulations of being a Mississippi football fan. Speaking of Jackson State, I'm glad you brought that up. Mm-hmm. I can't believe the SWAC tapped out so soon. But then again, once the schools started saying they were gonna play conference only, and those $1 million guarantees went away, man, it's tough. It's tough. I just hate it, man. I mean, so much of your civic pride is tied in, and by civic, I'm just meaning the whole state. We have a message here. I have a message here. Our secret admirer here in the house says Ole Miss wins third national title. Now, I mean, I thought they already had 3 banners hanging up. They had the Farmer's Almanac national title. I think the COVID has got to him. Nobody really has COVID. I'm kidding. Marcus says, let's go UCLA. Well, hell, Marcus, they've chosen not to play, unfortunately. The whole Pac-10, 12, whatever they call themselves this year, isn't even going to play. So.
What about Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones?
Oh, man, look. I'm glad this show is devolving away from Jackson. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. fight has been postponed, which, frankly, I was really surprised they had set a September date anyway. I think they moved it to late October or November when they hoped to be able to have fans back in there because, let's be honest, this is all about money. So if they're going to fight, it needs to be in front of as many people as possible. So Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson are still going to fight. It has not been canceled. They're just punting the date a little further down the road till late October or November is what I saw. So fingers crossed that still happens and nobody gets sick. And
somebody says, I think Roy Jones KOs Tyson first round.
Marcus, look, man, I love Tyson, but Roy Jones Jr. pound for pound was the best fighter in the world for a decade.
He's just wanting to know who you got.
Man, if Jones, now Tyson's in great shape.
He ought to ask who I got.
If Jones shows up in shape, he's got as good a chance. I mean, Tyson's got the power, but Jones was like the Mayweather with offense. So I don't know, man. It's a coin toss, but I wouldn't be mad if Jones won at all. But I need to see him show up in shape. If the pictures I've been seeing floating around is how he plans on showing up, Tyson first round. But I love Jones. I've met him before. He's from Tallahassee. He spent a lot of time down on the coast. I just associate with Southern people a little bit better. So I'll pull for anybody from the South. Yeah.
He's older and he's been
training it's one of them deals. I don't want to see either one lose. Tyson.
I'm going for Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be more fun if Tyson wins.
I grew up watching him.
Twitter will break, or social media will break if Tyson wins.
Well, I grew up watching him, and
it
would just be amazing.
Tyson's kind of come full circle. He went through everything he's been through in life, and he dealt with his mental health issues, his criminal issues, and everything. And I think a lot of us really look up to Tyson. You may not agree with everything he's ever done, but anytime somebody can overcome their demons and kind of come full circle, I think we all pull for people like that. So hopefully,
he says Jones is so creative.
I agree. I want to make sure I clarify here. I never boxed in a ring, like in a real match, but I did go train every day to box Golden Gloves, and I just say that to say that the amount of work just to do that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life physically. So what those guys do, and that actually, the next level and the next level and the Golden Glove stuff and on into the pro and all that, man, no average Joe wants to go toe to toe with anybody who can actually box or MMA, who get in the MMA stuff. And I mean, the real deal folks, not just your drunk bar fighters, do not want to make the Joes versus pros.
Different.
You don't make that mistake.
You ain't about that life.
No, yeah. If guys like I was talking about earlier, Anthony Mitchell, don't try to step up to those guys because they're real life badasses and you feeling tough. It will be a bad day. Bad day.
Somebody says if Tyson wins, maybe we can get one more of those 1990 crazy Tyson post interviews. Post-fight interviews.
Yeah, man. Tyson post-fight interviews were legendary. What's the guy's name in UFC? He's kind of known for doing those. He just had one the other night. He won a fight, and then he said he had to take a drop of deuce afterwards because that.
You said that.
And he said he's in the one prior to that, he said his junk was hot. I can't remember his name off the top of my mind.
Well, how are we not watching that?
Well, we do watch a lot of that.
I didn't say any of that.
Yeah, look, this house loves combat sports.
We do.
We watch every UFC fight, every boxing. We subscribe to DAZN, DAZN. It's like Netflix for boxing and fights. Love it. We watch a ton of fights. The COVID's kind of hurt that.
Yeah.
But we watch everything. So we watch. There's a big UFC fight this Saturday night, which I'm hoping I get home in time for. You got the trilogy between Stipe Miocic and brain fart here. Didn't think we were going to be talking about fights.
Well, look it up. Who is it?
Yeah, Derek Lewis is the guy who has the great post-fight press conferences or post-fight interviews. And then it's, oh, shoot, man. The guy that fought Roy Jones Jr. 3 times. Not Roy Jones Jr. Stipe Miocic and who's the other? Daniel Cormier. Cormier and Miocic are fighting for the third time this Saturday night. It's got a really good chance of being Cormier's last fight. It's for the heavyweight title. Cormier won it, then Stipe won it back, and they're going for the trifecta here, the rubber band match. You don't get too many of those in pro sports anymore, especially with all three being for the title. So it should be a great fight. Cormier is the GOAT. I don't win, lose, or draw. He's the greatest UFC fighter of my generation. You can make an argument with some of the other guys, but he's the greatest heavyweight.
I just say Stephen Del Rey, MMA fighter.
That's
Not
not
him.
No. Marcus asked, did I see Kimbo's professional? Man, I watched every Kimbo Slice backyard brawl. I watched his first MMA fight where he got knocked out by kind of a nobody that got plugged in at the last minute there. I watched every MMA fight. I watched the one where he basically died in the ring. I mean, it's the fight that killed him. Was a huge Kimbo fan. And his son, baby Kimbo, I forget what he called himself. Watched his debut a few months ago. Hell, it may have been a year ago.
It's been very weird.
Yeah, time has just been a blur. So, but yeah, man.
We've been married almost a year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, December 14th will be our 1 year anniversary. So look, I know y'all are busy. Y'all have lives. The viewers are trickling down here, and I said I wasn't going to be on here for 2 hours tonight. So, but I'm glad that we were able to talk about something different outside of Jackson drama. I enjoy this way better.
Somebody said Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the one I said did the crazy post-interview fights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. check out YouTube and pull up Derek Lewis UFC, and he's got some very Mike Tyson-like post-fight interviews. Good stuff. Big dude, too. Marcus, I want to say I'm familiar with the boxing stuff. I guess it's been a while. Let me pull it up after we get off here, and I will reconvene on the Kimbo Slice boxing stuff. I'm almost positive, because he ended up doing that before he got into the UFC, if my memory serves me correct. He went from backyard brawls to boxing to MMA. Am I right there? I feel like that's right. It's just been a while. I mean, because hell, you think about it, man, it's been 10 years or more since then. So, well, look, good night to everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to try to figure out how to break these things up where you can kind of jump in and jump out at the exact subject. But tonight was just kind of a free flow. Wanted to shoot the breeze with y'all, talk a little football, talk a little bit of everything. We're going to try to talk about more stuff than just Jackson. It's nothing but damn bad news around here. It's an election year. Let's have some fun with it. Peace out. Y'all be sure to go to our Facebook group, Jackson Uncensored. That's JXN Uncensored. Anything I'm associated with will be JXN if I can help it. So JXN Uncensored. We have a good conversation there. I'm usually the punching bag for people. So if you want to beat me up online, that's the place to do it. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all. Peace.